at least the first topic. The first one is like, enjoy, love, and hate. Verbs that express or favorite things and the things that we are not so in love with. All right. So one thing I want us to practice is, or continue practicing, is those gerunds, those INGs. So we're going to quickly go through a lesson on ING and infinitive. All right, so starting off with you, Luis, what's rule number one when using gerunds and infinitives?
When one verb is followed by another verb, that verb must be in the gerund or the infinitive. Generally, we use the infinitive after some verbs and the gerund after others. But there are some verbs with which we can use either the gerund of the infinitive.
Right. So we're going to be looking at the gerunds, but in general, remember that verbs tell us actions. And in sentences where we have two actions, the first verb will carry the time and the tense, and the second verb will tell us the action, right? So I cannot afford is our verb, and then afterwards we have an infinitive. We can also have the gerunds. We're focusing on the gerunds this class. Specifically, we're going to be looking at things we like, things we hate, things we enjoy, and things we dislike, right? So that's rule number one. Rule number two, Kelly.
We can use the genitive or the infinitive as the object, subject, or complement of a sentence, but in general, it is more common to use the gerund as the subject.
Right. So last semester we practiced gerunds at the beginning. So working is difficult. Studying English is hard. We did that last semester because we're looking at the present simple. Now that we're looking at the more complex ideas, we're going to be putting the gerund as the object, right? So I like cooking. I like eating pizza. I love watching Netflix. That's the type of things we'll be practicing today. And one more rule. Rule number 3. Mayra.
With some verbs, the meaning of the sentence can change with the use of the growth in the infinitive.
All right, with the use of the gerund or the infinitive. So if I say I forgot writing that email, it means I did write it last week and then the memory disappeared. But if I say I forgot to write, I never wrote it, right? And that's two different meanings. So we need to be careful what we are saying when we use the gerunds or the infinitives, all right? Now, of course, there are some other rules. You can check it out. And as usual, there's some exercises at the end. If you don't fully understand, you can always switch to Spanish and you can read the definitions in Spanish. All right, so that's for, in general, how we use gerunds and infinitives. As I mentioned, we're going to be focusing on likes and dislikes. I have some completed answers here already, so I'm just going to have you guys read. Starting with you, Alejandra. Number 1, our house is.
Our house is. O sea, tiene que mostrarme las opciones.
No. I already put them in, so just read for me.
Okay. our house is like theirs except for the interior decoration.
Okay, all right. So we have here in this case a comparison. This like this, all right? So when we're using like, when we're talking about two similar things, we can use like, all right? So that's another way we can use like. So be careful with the meaning. Number 2, Allison.
The love they have for each other is something they behold.
Mhm. All right. This is another use for love. You can say, I love eating, but you can also say the love, as in love being a thing. All right. So be careful so you understand. Next one, Alex.
I prefer to catch the train to work instead of driving.
All right. So remember in the first one, we had 2 houses. In this case, we also have 2 options, but now you have to choose. So when you're going to be choosing between 2 options, we use the verb prefer. All right, let's keep going. Christina.
He didn't recall what it was that made him hate and live here.
Exactly. All right. Now, of course, the opposite of love is hate. All right. So when you want to express negative feelings, we can use that verb.
On our trip, we will visit cities that we like, such as Venice and Barcelona.
Next one, Karen.
As a rule, they prefer not to stay at home at the weekends.
Good. Next one, Eduardo.
If you love Star Wars, you should watch the latest episode.
The latest episode. Good. All right. Cintura.
He was not treated and spoiled like many of us.
All right. And last one, Daniela. Back to you. All right. You forgot that you have 2 names, Karen?
He was not petite and spoiled like many of you.
Many of us. All right. And number 10, since she didn't want it, Louise, back to you.
I hate to think we spent that awful morning with no results.
All right. Make sure you drop your names in the chat if you haven't done so. And those are the verbs that we usually use when we talk about preferences. Now, of course, the first exercise that you guys have was just generally talking about the ing form. Let me just share this screen. All right. So you had to look at the ing form. The next thing you needed to practice was like or dislike. You also need to know how to talk about wishes, so things that are desires or necessities. And you need to talk about beliefs. Now, these 2 will appear on your forum exercise, but today's unit is mostly this one. All right, so let me dive in and let's do a few exercises. You need to continue working on your own so that you can do the forum. We haven't gotten there yet, but let's dive into today's activities. All right, so like, enjoy, love, and hate. Sergio, do you like eating ice cream or do you prefer eating pizza?
I prefer eating ice cream.
All right, desserts are good. Do you like cleaning your room or hate cleaning your room?
I hate clean my bedroom.
Cleaning, ing forms. Repeat, I hate cleaning.
I hate cleaning my bedroom.
All right, and that's what we're going to be expressing in today's session. we have a lot of examples, so let's continue practicing. Kelly, do you like listening to pop music or reggaeton?
I like listening pop music.
All right. Karen, do you prefer doing your homework or sleeping?
Sleeping.
All right, full sentence. Again, Karen, I prefer sleeping.
I prefer sleeping.
All right, remember to use your full sentences and your words. All right, so that's a quick little description of what we'll be doing. Now, you have to know the context of your sentence to choose love or enjoy, like, or hate. I don't want us to necessarily practice only gerunds. There are some words that also have the infinitive form. So now let's practice both. Let's use these verbs that we have here and let's practice. So let's continue. Fernanda, do you want to work as a general dentist or a surgical dentist?
Me?
Yes.
Can you repeat me, please?
Of course. Do you want to work as a general dentist or a surgical dentist?
I want to work general dentist.
Good. Martin, do you need to study English every day or only on Saturdays?
I need a study every day.
All right. Yes, it does help. All right. That's the idea there when we're talking about the infinitive. We have our verbs, and the verb after is in the to form. So we have the ing form, and we also have the to form. So those are the two forms that you need to remember. All right. Let's go over back to enjoys and likes and loves. Alex, do you avoid doing homework on Sundays?
O sea, ¿lo leo?
No. Answer. Do you avoid doing homework on Sundays?
I avoid work. ¿Cómo? No entendí. Es que no sé qué significa avoid.
Evitar.
¿Invitar?
Evitar.
Evitar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So me, for example, I do all my work during the week. On Sundays, the only work I do is plan for the next week. I avoid work on Sundays. What about you? Do you avoid homework on Sundays?
I don't avoid.
Okay. It's a good answer. Sergio, do you enjoy playing video games every day?
I don't enjoy playing video games every day.
Good. All right. And that, my friends, is the ing form. So we have the to form, and we also have the ing form. Now, as I mentioned, some verbs can be followed by both, but be careful with the meaning. In this particular unit, you have some exercises. But since you have the forum, I'm going to share the other activities so you can at least look at them and you can do the forum today or tomorrow. Remember, the deadline is Monday. All right, so here, let me just share my screen again, but this time with another unit. This one is the desires. We'll do more of this one next week, but let's to quickly show you so you can practice. This one is about desires. And the verbs there, like you saw just now, need, want, or the obligation, I have, right? Now, if you're going to be passing exam, you need to study. But if it's very, very important, then you have to do it. These are some of the verbs we can use. So first, necessity. And then we have what we call more of the, down here, more of the take the decision now type of thing. One thing is you need to do it. So this is the necessity. Next one is the desire. Right now you need to make a decision. So you say, I want to do something. And the last one, which you've been practicing for the last 2 weeks, is the preference. Which one do you prefer? And when you're writing when you're creating your PowerPoint presentations, you're going to be using these words a lot. All right? Next one. You're also going to be needing to talk about beliefs. All right? So do you believe in God? Do you believe in science? Do you believe Moctezuma? Do you believe in Tlaloc? What type of things do you hold close to your heart? And that's the unit that we'll do on the 23rd. Right? So you're going to need this one as well. So make sure you practice here. Remember, your deadline is Monday, tomorrow, Monday, like we say in English. All right? So the next one is about beliefs. I think, I know, or I believe are the verbs that you'll be practicing. All right. Now, of course, first of all, think. You're not 100% sure, so you use the verb I think. I think we might go to state of the emergency level orange in February. Maybe. Right? That's with think. We also have believe. This is something that you don't always have evidence, but in your thoughts, you have this idea. So there are some people who believe that if you drink beer every day, you will be healthy. Don't know why, but they drink a little bit of alcohol every day. And then there are the facts, right? Scientific facts. Those we use the verb know. So I know that if I put water in the freezer, it will turn to ice, right? Those are the verbs that you should use for beliefs. And in your presentations as well, you should use these verbs. Remember, your forum asks you this time to create a PowerPoint presentation, and you're going to be including audio or video in it, right? So be careful how you create your PowerPoint presentations, and of course, practice first and save your evidence as well. We also have to take a look at the past. Things that were normal in your life before today. And that's when we use used to. So I used to live in Campeche. I used to live in Tabasco. I used to live in another country. These happened before today. You could also use it for your beliefs. I used to go to mass every Sunday with my family, but now I'm too busy. Or I used to go to church, but now, because of the pandemic, we don't go to church, right? That's another thing you should practice for your forum activities. Make sure to do all your exercises on the platform, save your evidence, and then submit your work before Monday. Your deadline is Monday. And talking about deadlines, let me just share with you your calendar again. Remember last year we finished all of these. So that's Unit 1, Unit 2, and the test. Now we're at Unit 3. So you need to do all of these. Yeah, it's a little bit more work, but your deadline for Unit 3 is Monday, right? I know We haven't completed everything yet because, of course, 2 classes, that's 2 activities. But make sure to go ahead and practice the other things as well so you can do your forum activity. We'll review them